Hi there, greetings and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here, day 30, final day. Yep, the final episode of the series we've been running for September. 30 bands I have yet to follow. So what we've been doing this whole month is I've picked out 30 bands from all the bands that I listen to, ones that I like, of course, because there's bands I don't like, and I don't want to do that. So I picked out 30 bands that I liked, but for whatever reason, I'm kind of only on the surface of them. I really don't know much about them. I don't really follow them. I don't have a ton of their stuff, and the stuff I do have, I don't really listen to. Although I do like a lot of their music, and there's aspects of their music that I do like, but for some reason I haven't really quite followed them yet. This band may be one of the most enigmatic ones of the grouping, because this seems like a natural fit for me, being a Rush fan, a longtime Rush fan. But the part of Rush that I liked the most was different from this part of this band, which is Dream Theater. Now I do have this album and one other one. I don't know much about this album. The other album I know gets quite a bit of flack for being not a great album. So maybe it's not fair to them to put everything on this couple of albums, and maybe I should give them a bit of a different time period to explore them a little bit. I don't know a lot about them other than I know that they're considered one of the first of their type, what they would call a progressive metal band. Now some people would say Rush was the kind of first band of that nature, but I don't think of Rush as a progressive metal band. Sorry guys, but I don't. To me, they're a band that had lots of experimentation early on in their careers, became a progressive rock band, and then drifted into that kind of synth pop that so many bands were doing because they wanted to get a little bit more like the Police. And then they came back to the kind of hard stuff later. But I've never thought of Rush as a metal band, and so this band, I don't know if they're the same as Rush. I've heard they have a lot of similarities between the two. So I bought a couple of albums, but I listened to both and just wasn't really motivated to go beyond that. But I think it's time to maybe give them another chance. So anybody out there watching who's a fan of this band, and I'm sure there are people that watch this channel that are, please indicate to me where the best entry point is for this band, or maybe 2 or 3 albums that you think are more representing of them. Maybe this is a good representation of them. I don't know. So hopefully somebody out there will tell me what is a better representation, and if that's the case, then maybe I'll pursue them that way. That's often the best way to go about getting into a band. Find an entry point that is going to draw you in. Because usually if you like the entry point stuff, at some point some of the other stuff that you may not like as much will start to sit better with you. That's just my own opinion. And that and $1.40 or whatever it is will get you the newspaper. Anyway, so the band for today's final episode was Dream Theater. I think they have a multitude of albums, maybe 15 or so. If I might be off on that one, so please let me know if I am. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and notification bell. Those are all important. We're going to do just a little bit more of a talk towards the end here about some honorable mention bands that, I think probably could have been on this show as well, but for whatever reason I decided that these were the bands I was going to pick. One of the bands that I had considered for this show was the Romantics, because I did like a lot of their early stuff, but then after the Talking in Your Sleep album, whatever that's called, I can't remember, I just kind of just dropped right off with them. I just didn't pursue them anymore. I'm not sure that that's because I couldn't afford it. I probably could have, but I just, for some reason, that was enough for me. Those 2 albums, that one and That's What I Like About You, was enough for me, and I didn't pursue them beyond that. Other bands that fall into this category, the Talking Heads. This is the band that I've always liked, but I just have never pursued buying any of their stuff. And I'm not really sure why that took place, but it has. Let me try to think here. The Firm, that's another band that Jimmy Page helped form. It seemed like a natural fit for me, but I never even pursued it at all. And I'm not sure I even know anything about them. Bad Company's another band that falls into that. Humble Pie. These are all bands that are fairly good, solid bands that I just never followed. But have no problem with any of them, but just don't follow them for whatever reason, you know. And there's lots of bands like in the Wishbone Ass kind of field that I just don't follow either, and have never had really any reason to want to follow them. But you know, they all could still be bands that come to play here. And of course, there's a whole host of new bands out there that I like, but you can only afford to pick so many of them. I've picked a few, Drifting Sun being one of them. There's a few others out there that I quite like a lot. Overhead, there's a band that I like a lot. I don't own anything other than a video by them, which I will probably do a live experience video on them eventually too. But these are bands that I want to get into. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this series for its 30 days. In the month of September, those 30 bands I have yet to follow. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I look forward to starting a new series tomorrow. This one is probably more mainstream for most people who do these kind of things. It's going to be my 31 favorite albums that were released in 1982. I'm not even sure what they're going to be myself yet, but there's quite a few of them, more than I had originally thought, so I got to narrow it down and start tomorrow. So I hope to see you for that series, and we will have so have yourself a good evening. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and we will see you starting tomorrow with the new series for October. So take care and goodbye.